Be the practical perfectionist, do your best, and accept that your best will do.
That's great, you should write that down.
I did.
Oh, you.
I said, I'm an artist, what do you want? All right, we're going to go for a simple feather test. So here we go. We're trying to do as few lines as possible for this test.
Looks really nice. Well, let's see how simple you think it is after you cut it twice.
World's simplest feather, pretty much.
For my design, I was thinking about doing something simple, like a silly little goldfish, but then I realized that was a cop-out. I think I'm gonna try the creepy monster hand with the sharp, pointy fingers. Keeping in mind that I have to cut this a few different times and I don't want it to be too ambitious. Beauty and the Beast. I will cut my first one.
So what you do is you put that over, then you're not cutting your design. You're going to use the same acetate for 1, 2, 3 tests.
Yeah, it takes practice to get fine shapes. Hard to do one long sweeping cut that has a curve.
So first lesson, this is already dulled a little bit on the tip just from doing it on the glass. I was pressing a little bit too hard.
Yep.
But there it is. This is how long that took. All right. Well, it looks like you did a really good job of getting the shapes. Okay, so how did the razor blade go?
It's simple, it's quick. I'm very comfortable with this kind of a razor blade. It is not sharp on this side, only on one side.
I will get our next stencil cutting tool going, the hot knife. So if you thought an X-acto knife was dangerous, try a super heated X-acto knife that can melt through plastic.
So I like to have the cord off that side of the table so that if it got pulled off the table, it'd go that way instead of into me. Okay, so now I have the plastic taped on one side and the drawing on the other. See, I don't like holding this far away from the tool. I like holding there, but you can't because that's hot. So the nice thing about this size glass, the black board under it is just so you can see this acetate. I gotta say, I'm not sold on the hot knife being that much of an asset, but your turn.
Yeah, it seems pretty darn hot. There we go. Real quick, if you enjoy this video, please drop a like and let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Is it time for me to say that?
Yes.
If you enjoyed this video, okay. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and tell us your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when our next videos come out, and tell your friends.
Now we're gonna go cut on the Cricut cutter. Let me show you the process. You got your sticky mat, you take off the lint shield, and you put your material down on it. This is a 12 by 12 friction mat. This is the stickiest one we could get. You get all the bubbles out. And then things like this that are popping up off of your acetate, you want to stick those down. In this case, you could even put a piece of tape over that because you don't want that to get caught up in the Cricut cutter's machinery as it's rolling back and forth. We're going to scan the image that we drew earlier. You don't want that to get caught up in the Cricut cutter's machinery as it's rolling back and forth. Let's do that again. You gotta free one corner with a tool like this or your thumbnail. Beware of getting an acetate corner stuck under your nail bed. That's a whole unique type of torture. So it's pretty easy until you get to the stencil, and you got to be careful that you don't rip your stencil if you apply too much force while you're peeling it off. Watch out, don't get your hair stuck to the mat.
These tools that are for matte cutting corners. I can't say what they're called because you'll make fun of me, because it's a boning tool. That's what it's called.
So, what color do you want?
All right, pick your color.
So we're going to test them out and see which one looks best. So teach me the technique.
First, take very little, and then you're going to go straight down. And you're going to make sure as best you can that you do not move the stencil. It is going to smear the paint under the acetate. Voila.
Ooh.
Take as little paint as you can. It's a glump, but that's okay.
Should I glump it back in there?
Glump it back in is an interesting term. If you can get some off straight up and down. If you want more paint, you go back to where you first put it on, because that's where it's thickest. Go for a little more evenness. You've got some spatchy. Spatchy is my word for the day. Look it up. It'll be in Webster's next year, because it's a really good word.
That's a great word.
All right, and lift.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now we can see that the Cricut cutter is smoother, but if you're doing something as simple as this shape, you're not having to scan, take a picture, put it on the computer, clean it up, and put it into the Cricut cutter machine. How fast I could cut this with the razor blade, that's the way to go with this particular design. Now, when I did all of these, and the 300 stencil designs I've done since then, go ahead and invest in a Cricut cutter if you're going to do that much work. So the Cricut cutter allows you to change the size and make many of them. These stencils that I drew were cut by the Cricut stencil cutter, and this was cut with a razor blade.
Model it. Show us something.
Well, oh, or I.
There you go. That's all we care about. Just show us the goddamn outfit.
Or that. Now this was done with the hot knife. It's piece in 48 different languages. Well, obviously, a razor blade is the simplest, least expensive, and it's fine, especially for simple shapes. The hot knife, I don't think gave any advantage for a simple shape like this. I feel like the razor blade gives me more control. The Cricut cutter, unnecessary. It's an expensive, compared to a razor blade or hot knife, machine, and it requires either scanning, taking a photograph, or
Drawing it digitally.
drawing it digitally on a pen display and putting it into the computer, then into the Cricut cutter. So I don't think a simple shape like this, that's justified. I think the razor blade is fine for simple shapes. And if you're doing as many as I've done, 300 stencils, sure, get a Cricut cutter. I would highly recommend it. You can change the size. You can make another one. So that's my assessment of the different ways. And certainly, if you want to experiment, start with the razor blade. Don't cut yourself. And if it hurts your hand to hold it and you're more comfortable with the hot knife, that works. And if you like it, then go ahead and invest in the Cricut cutter. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when my next video comes out.